sold extra today. Believe it.
You sold extra today, believe it.
Believe it.
Yeah.
You haven't been working my way. So God, your word says,
Yeah.
you'll make a way.
You'll make a way. Glory to God. Awesome.
I wanted to thank my grandma and everybody else that helped me pay for this trip. She helped me through when I have to get permission to go out of state by a judge. So at first, I didn't know if I was going to be able to go. So at a time, I was like feeling down and I didn't know if I could go. So my grandma was there for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
First, I thank God for all that He's done for me and for Crystal. Crystal has been a light in my life for the last 2 years. I pushed her, I still push her, and I will continue to push her. I know that she has, I always tell her that the sky's the limit. You can go to any school, but I prefer her to go to an HBCU school. I have a granddaughter that went to HBCU. I have nieces, I have cousins that have also gone to HBCU schools, and they did well. Yes. Crystal is my heart. And I just thank each and every one of y'all that have supported her. I'm on a fixed income, but I was determined between the faith and her faith and my faith in God. I knew we was going to make it. And with all of this support, all of the support I got from everyone here, my family, it was just a blessing. And I want to thank God for her. And I know one more thing I'm going to say before I give you this mic is that by the end of the year, Crystal will be adopted by me.
Praise God. Praise God.
My appreciation goes to my mom and my dad. First off, because before we even went on the trip, 6 months ahead before, my dad kept on telling me, you need to learn this stuff, you need to learn this so you can be really prepared. And then my dad also told me since I was the youngest, I had to act up to the group that I was a part of. And then my mom, I have to thank her because she was the one who told me that when you go on this trip, you not only have to think about like what you're doing, but you have to think about what others did for you. And then I also want to thank her because she did something on Facebook and I raised over $700. And also thank you to all those people. And then I just want to thank them for pushing me to be the young man that I am today.
Bishop, it started with you talking about how education, we have to do things early because we got to catch up. And so we knew Caleb wasn't old enough to go, so we made this conscious decision. We had to volunteer so he could go. But we...
That's 3 flights.
Yes, sir. It's 3 of everything.
Everything.
And so it meant a lot for us that we sacrificed because we couldn't wait. It was that important to us after what you had instilled in us about how we have to catch up. And so it's not a matter of if. For us, it's where. And he has his heart stuck on Duke, just like little James. But we want, as a product of the HBCU, I thought it was important for him to be exposed to other HBCUs.
Awesome.
Yes, certainly. Let me say, certainly want to say thank you to Bishop Dixon because he is a living legend. He doesn't have the tenure in reference to his age, but his academics, and you just look at his bio and you will understand why he is a living legend. And I wanted my son, even more so now, we'll go home and we'll talk about the fact that we talk about the Dr. Martin Luther Kings and the Booker T. Washington. Those are some great men. But I want my son to understand that even though you see these gentlemen, you have a living, walking, breathing, vessel, tangible person that you can touch. somebody that comes alongside him and he hugs him and tells him of his value. And we really, really want to thank you for that. And then while I have the mic, there may become an opportunity, but I want to say, Bishop Dixon, when these kids hit the campus, they didn't look like there were other tours going on. Yes, sir. But these kids here, these youth, they were distinguished. Yes, sir. And for those of you all that weren't there, let me share with you the distinguishing factor. One of the distinguishing factors is, if you look at them, they all look alike. Yeah. They all look alike. The other thing is, what's written on their hoodies here tells you a lot about where they're going. But even more important than that, as these students moved about the campus, they didn't walk around with nothing in their hand. They had pamphlets. All of them had the same pamphlets with some information in the pamphlets that they had to know. They had to fill out all the information. And as I looked at some of the other tours, they weren't prepared. They didn't look like scholars. They looked like they were on a tour. They could have went to the zoo and done the same thing. And only because of the way they look. And I want to say that, because I want all of these youth to know that you are the level of excellence that everyone is trying to achieve, and you're walking in greatness. It's just that we don't want you to wait until after the fact to look back and realize it. And so we owe a great depth of gratitude to you, and then we owe a great depth of gratitude to Tanya. Yeah. And so while we have the mic, so while we have the mic, and I'm sure I can speak for not just the chaperones, but all the parents in here. We have seen a level of excellence that you like. We have seen it produced, sir. I mean, from the time, from what I understand, it started in June, the preparation. Yeah, and so now we just want to say to you and to Tanya and then to the whole Community of Faith Church, thank you so very much for this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
One more thing, piggyback on what my dad said. Thank you to Miss Tanya and Brother Joe, because first off, they didn't even have to do this. They already had all their sons in college already, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You can go.
I want to thank my mom.
Come on, when you see the student, please. Yes.
I want to thank you for allowing me to go on this trip. At first, I did not want to go. I did not. You kept pushing me to get that volunteer favor sign, even though I didn't, and you paid for it with all your money, and I thank you for that. I thank you for pushing me, worrying about me, loving me, worrying about my grades. I didn't want to go to college, but now I do. I made up my mind on what school I wanted to go to. And I thank you for that. I just thank you for everything you've done for me. And I appreciate you.
Wow, that sounds like it was life-changing.
Yes, it does.
What drove you, Rhonda, to make such a significant investment? And you're not working on it. So you're not working. What drove you to still say yes to this?
I have 3 grown children, Bishop. As most of y'all know, Hannah is not my biological child. Hannah is my first cousin's child. And I've had Hannah basically since birth. I love her like I birthed her. And I want the best for her, just like I want the best for my own children. It was a challenge for that $1,300. It truly was, but just like Brother Donovan, I went straight to the military. And so I didn't have those opportunities as well as somebody to take me to a college. Maybe my life would have been better, but I truly believe God put me on that road because now I can afford the things for Hannah on my fixed income. But my children, my grown children, they do a lot for Hannah. I am in the process of myself of adopting Hannah. I feel like I don't want anything to happen to me health-wise and she not be taken care of, or they take her away from my children so that she won't be able to advance and do the things that she's been exposed to. And I do this trip, Bishop, because I wanted her to go and see the different things, because she deserves it, because she went through a lot. And I want her to know I love you with every ounce of my body. And I want you to have everything that you can achieve. And if I don't push you, and I know you get mad at me, but it's done out of love. And I love most of these kids, they just like mine, but I'm proud of you, Hannah. I want to see you succeed. There's nothing in the world that I want better for you.
I want to thank my dad and my grandma, and even though my mom, and my nana couldn't show up, they showed so much appreciation to me. They struggled a lot, 24/7, trying to get me to go to this little trip, and they helped me a lot of ways. Well, big, whatever. You know what I mean. They push me. They push me hard in school. They pressurize me. They want me to succeed in life. And when I went to all them museums, the areas, them colleges, they want me to be just like them, and they belong up there with the greats. As much as struggles they put me through, and as much time and effort they had me to succeed, they belong everywhere with them greats. And every places I've been to, they need their own memorial for how much they did.
Thank you, Bishop. I only have 2 grandchildren, and I just thank God for being able to help send him and his other grandparents, Cynthia, David, and Carl. But God is good. And I didn't have the opportunity like at his age to go to college and all, but God has truly blessed me. And we're just so proud of him in school and all he does good. We just thank God again. And thank these chaperones. And we got all the pictures that they shared with us, you know. So again, I say thank you.
Son, I'm proud of you. And being a father, and it makes me just, as a single dad, just encourage me. And you having everything you have, and things that I never experienced, and you went everywhere to the college, the chaperones, and the bishop, the vision. I just want to thank you, son. I love you.
He said, bring it in, wants a hug.
Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, please don't make me cry. He's gonna cry too, he's gonna cry too, he's gonna cry too.
So, can I have my mom and my sister? Layla, where you at? Layla, where she at? Come on.
Start moving.
Go with mama.
Keep talking.
Okay, so I'm waiting till my little sister get up here. Okay, so I would like to thank my mama for pushing me to go on this trip. I was already excited to go because, you know, me, I'm a very person, I like to experience things and do new things. I don't like being, I call it one basic color, like the color black. I don't like being that color. So I like to experience things I never did before. And she has made a big sacrifice. She been taking care of us, and she always told me, no matter who give you something, what you give, what you take, And what you take from other people, there's always a reason to live life. And be grateful when somebody give you something, even if it's a little penny. Be grateful they even gave that to you, because that was probably their only last money they had, and trying to help me succeed. And I thank you for that. And I want to thank your cousin and my mama too, because I'm sorry.
All right,
So, the year 2014, I was put inside the system. And she adopted. Yes, she took me in. You know, before that, I went to a lady house. She was very abusive. My little sister. Okay. So I want to thank her, because I was depressed. You know, I didn't even feel like being on earth no more. I just wanted to end it. I was made fun of and bullied at school. You know, kids talked about me. It was like, you don't even need to be here. You need to do it. So, and she pushed me. She was like, don't listen to what nobody else says. God made you, and He give you missions or what to do. They not Him. They can't tell you what to do. And, you know, she has made my life better, living-wise and financially. And she has showed me there's everything worth living for, and I appreciate that.
Awesome. Any of the other basketballers want to speak before you speak? Yeah.
Well, I really don't have nothing to say. He really took the words right from my mouth. Like, we just want to say thank you to her.
I want to say thank you to my mom, mainly because she stuck with me really from the beginning. Miss Chester should know this, because she used to be my principal at Goodman Elementary. And
who did?
Miss Chester.
Wow. Okay.
And they could tell, both of them could tell you right now, I was a handful. But my mom always told me, just tell me the full story and you're going to be all right. And at first, just like Hannah, I did not want to go on a trip. Like, I tried to think of every single excuse why I did not want to go. Like, I already knew what college I wanted to go to and the college after that. But my mom said, no, you're going to go on this trip. I already paid the money, so you're going to go if you want to or not. You ain't got no choice in it. And at that time, I still didn't want to go. I was like, nah. But she was like, you gonna do it for the experience. She kept bringing up what Pastor said. You need to see exposure expands expectations. And close to almost a few days before we got on the plane, I just thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna go, and if I like it, then I just learned something new. But if I really don't, then at least I still got to see what I didn't get to see before, because without my mom's sacrifice, I wouldn't have been able to go on a trip.
Okay. I just want to make this clear. I don't have any adopted kids. I don't have any foster kids. These are my kids that God has blessed me with. And I love them. They know I love them. Miss Chester can tell you. I mean, when it comes down to my kids, don't mess with them. Because I'm right here for them. And it was a big, huge sacrifice, because I wasn't feeling well. I had just got out the hospital, and I couldn't go around and ask for anything. Plus, they know I don't really ask anyway. So the bulk of it, I did myself. I think I got like $150. The rest of it I did myself. Well, God did it. Yeah. And I thank God for Tanya Ballard here. I mean, she didn't know who I was until my last payment. But I kept telling her, I have the money. I have the money. And they're going. Michael said, well, Mama, you know that's going to be $3,900. I said, I don't care, but you're going. And didn't know where it was going to come from. But God. But God. And we have been through so much ever since July. You know, our house burned. We had 3 accidents within that time. And last night come home, my whole house was redid. So now every room is flooded. So we are dealing with all of this. But through it all, it's nothing but God. And you know, we don't have any, I mean, we're just a happy family through whatever that we go through. So I don't want to get anything twisted. These are my kids. And I want everybody to know that these are my kids. And I do thank God for him allowing to put these kids into my care. And I am 70 years old. July the 4th, I'll be 71. Thank God, praise God, and I feel good about it. So, that's it.
Wow. Isn't this worth it?
I just want to say thank you, Mama. And not just my mom. Thank you for everyone who paid for me to go on this trip. My mom, she couldn't do it by herself. But she did everything. She did her part. She did whatever she could do. Also, thank you, Sister Tanya Battles. As you see, I have that note that's right there. I just want to thank y'all for letting me go on this trip. And I said, thank you, Bishop. This trip was very educational. I had an experience just to not go where I've never gone or to do what I've never done or to have what I've ever had. But I got a chance to go with people who I've never really traveled with. And as I got to really know all these people around my trip, I even told Tanya in the room the other day, you guys are like my family. That's how close to you, especially you, Caleb. I look at you as like a little brother if you didn't know that. And we brought 2K Nova. We was having a great time on the trip. We was sitting in the room laughing, just playing 2K. I feel like I was not just enjoying the time with my friends, but enjoying time with my brothers and sisters.
Oh, Jesus. There's so much I can say, but I will be here until this time next year. Bishop, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, sir, I can't stop thanking you enough. A lot of people know we've been through a lot in the last couple of years, but this trip was all about my son. Xavier's had some challenges from birth. He came at 6.5 months. We almost lost him. He stayed in NICU for 9 days. And this church, Brother Warren and a couple other ones came and prayed at the church. They said he wasn't gonna make it, but I kept the faith based on what you taught me. I kept praying. I was told I couldn't have any more children after I lost my first one, and that was before Zena. But I kept praying based on what you taught me, and I kept the faith. Every word that I've learned from you, Bishop, from the time I stepped foot in this church in 1990, I've tried to do everything I can to instill it in my children. And the results have come forward. Xavier was diagnosed with ADHD, but God, and I kept the faith. And I want to thank all the sponsors. I want to thank all the family and friends who helped and contributed to make this possible for my son, because he's had challenges where people picked on him, bullied him, treated him like he was nothing, told him he wasn't going to amount to anything. And he just kept praying. And he said, I'm just going to keep listening to you, Mom, and things that Bishop taught me, and I'm just going to push forward. And, you know, my husband, stepdad, he instills things in him spiritually as well. And, you know, even his dad talks to him at times. But the fact of the matter is, without each and every one of you, and I speak to my community of faith family, thank you all for loving my son. Thank you for loving me. And thank you even for loving my child, Zena, who's off at college. Because without you as our family, sometimes we wouldn't be able to make it. Bishop, thank you for everything that you teach us as a community of faith family. Because it does take a village. Exposure does expand expectation. And every word that you teach us, if we don't take that word to heart and do something with it, then we're not great followers. And I thank God for you being a dynamic leader. And I feel sorry for those who have left the community of faith. And I say this live streaming, you all are the ones that lost.
I heard that. My name is James Dixon, and I approve of that message.
What's the phone saying? Huh?
Who's next?
So I want to thank my mom and my dad, even though my dad isn't able to be here today. So I want to thank my mother and my father for paying for this trip, all with their own money. Because we were hesitant at first if I wanted to go or not, but they didn't want to ask money from others at the last minute, so they decided to pay on their own. And the people that did realize that I was going the last couple weeks, they did give money for me to spend while I was on the trip, and I want to thank them for that. And, oh my gosh, okay. So I want to thank everyone that gave me money and for my parents for doing this for me, because I did not want to go at first. And it's not because I didn't want to experience, but I don't know, I just felt like I wasn't really, like, I don't know, like, everyone here. And so I didn't want to hang out with them because I didn't want to be just to the side or be by myself, you know? Yeah. And so I didn't want to go, but as I got closer and closer and started meeting everyone here, I'm glad I decided to come, and that my parents told me to come. They're like, this is all the colleges and the experience. And I just want to thank them for that. Awesome. Because this trip is amazing. I would thank Ms. Tanya Battles. Because again, what Bishop said earlier, this was your dream and you made it a reality. And hopefully we can do this again. I know we'll be able to do this again next year and years after that.
Awesome. Now, this is probably the first time most of y'all got to hear her mother, Joshua, speak. And I've been knowing her since we were small kids. She lived 2 doors from my grandfather, C.D. Dixon, and my Aunt Irma. So literally grew up like right there. Y'all know Craig Wilkerson? Yeah. First cousins. Yeah. And they lived next door to them. And always quiet, sweet, and the smartest one in the bunch. Come on, John.
I don't know what to say. Basically, Pastor, we were like one of the little, we heard your mission when you said it at first, and we heard it, and it kind of just went over us. And then when you re-announced it that last time, it kind of like clicked in our head. And I'm just so happy that Craig said, hey, when you said everybody, you went that announcement said, everyone with a kid show up in the King's Court. So I was like, okay, And so when we got the information, and it just awoken in us that, hey, this is a time for us to do this. And we have had, like some kids hadn't had that, did our mini little excursions that we've done, our little mini times that we've taken Sydney to different campuses. She has been on the HBCU. We went to Houston Tillman, and we did some other things at LSU and things when we were just doing vacationing. But it was our little trips. But the thought that you put in it and Tanya put in it was definitely beyond what we could have ever thought about when we were doing ours. And of course, almost like what Brother Haley was saying, it was like going to the zoo with ours compared to what you guys were so more intense. I call myself, when we do go on things and anytime we're going somewhere, we're always looking at an educational moment. We're always taking that opportunity anytime we go somewhere. So, but this is definitely beyond that step. So I'm so happy that your words were spoken into my husband's heart and for it to just go into all of us. Because I see the difference at Sydney already. I mean, she always takes things and goes with it, but I can see the steps beyond. Yeah. So I'm so happy that she's had the opportunity to expand with these kids here, because like the other lady was saying, young lady was saying, that she was a little apprehensive because like, okay, I know a couple faces, but I don't know all. And just like he was saying, now that they're not just friends, they're family, and they're a bond that they're going to have, that they're going to take with them forever. So that is just amazing that you and Tanya and all the chaperones have instilled in them that they will take. So I'm just so blessed that she had the opportunity.
How different is this for your daughter than it was for you as a child growing up?
I'm almost like you. For us to say that, you know, I went to, I got my shirt on. I went to an HBCU because I went to Prairie View. But I had my sister pushing me to go there. I didn't, you know, even though it's just down the road, I didn't go to the campus beforehand. I didn't go to a TSU. I didn't go to any one of the campuses to know, hey, where I really wanted to go. But it was a stumbling on process. Because of this person, I just ended up. But I didn't have that opportunity to say, hey, let me look at this campus, look at this campus, look at this history, see what's really speaking to me to know, hey, this is the campus for me. I didn't have that opportunity. So that would have truly been a blessing to say, this is the reason why I picked this campus is because it does this. Not just because, oh, it's down the street. You know? Yeah. So blessed assurance.
Awesome. Awesome. Give them a hand. We're almost done. So give us a couple more minutes for everybody. Who's next?
So I want to say thank you to my mama, my granny. Okay. And I want to say thank you to the church because it takes a village. It takes a village to build. It takes a village to build someone, and with this opportunity, y'all have pushed me to find a school of my choice, and I really appreciate everyone, especially chaperones, Miss Tanya, everybody, especially you, because I wasn't sure what school I wanted to go to, and I kept saying I want to go to Houston, Tennessee, but now I'm going to apply to Tuskegee tomorrow. And I thank y'all for pushing me, because that push just pushed me to another level.
So, how challenging was it for you, and why did you accept the challenge?
Okay, so I'm going to brag on God for a second. I have 2 seniors, 2 graduating, so it's like I have twins. Caitlin went with her school on a trip. And they started out in Atlanta, and they traveled to different colleges. When Caitlin came back, she was excited. And I remember praying. I was like, you know, I want that same excitement for Elise, because Elise is my challenge child. She's a lot like me, where she's going to choose her own path. So I can't push her because she'll resist. So I have to support her when she makes her decision. So I've asked Elise, where are you going to go to school at? We've been all over the world. We want to go to this, we want to this. Okay, I don't want to push her because I don't want her to resist. On this trip, she's made her mind up of where she wants to go. She came home so excited. Mommy, I'm going to Tuskegee. I'm like, God, thank you, Jesus. I don't understand. But she was so excited about it. And when Caitlin went on her trip, I prayed a specific prayer. Let me tell you how good God is. I have 4 kids, 1 at Sam now who's a junior. I'll have 2 graduating June 2nd going into college, and then I have my 13-year-old. financially, it wasn't realistic for me to be able to do it with everything I have going on, but I prayed a specific prayer. I declared and I decreed that destiny helpers will locate my child. And within 48 hours of praying that, I got a phone call for my child to come onto this trip. And I was like, thank you, Lord. You know, I thank you, Lord, because Elise needed that push. You know, she needed to understand that she has everything inside of her, no matter how much I tell her, but she needed to believe that everything that is inside of her, it's all that it needs for her to be successful. You know, God has already guided her footsteps. He's already brought her to it. Anything that he's going to bring her to, he'll bring her through. And she sees that now. And then on top of that, I'm so sick of hearing Crystal's name. I am so sick. Miss Crystal this, Miss Crystal that, Miss Crystal that. But for me, that's so reassuring because my child has somebody she's comfortable with. Something she may not tell me, she will feel comfortable telling her. And that it honestly takes a village because my children have people that support them and love them, and they know that, you know. And then my family came out to the trips. They came and supported them, and that sent a message to my children. When you do right, when you try, we have you. We're going to meet you. We're going to support you. We're going to sow into you, you know. And it spoke so much volume. But I just really want to thank God for the opportunity, Bishop, for the vision, you guys for dealing with these kids, because I know I was afraid Elise wasn't going to make it back. I thought she might have got left in Louisiana or something, but I just really want to thank you because I had to call my child. My child wasn't calling me anymore. I'm like, Elise, Mom, we're at a swamp tour. Mom, we're at CNN. Mom, we're at Coca-Cola. And I'm like, she's so excited and she's so engaged, she forgot about me. You know, and I want to thank everybody who sold into my child and gave her the money that she needed to get there, the extra spending money. I just thank God, and I speak a double blessing over your lives. What you sold, may you receive back tenfold in the name of Jesus. And I just really want to thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Wow. Come on, praise God. Who's left?
I just want to thank my granny, my mama, and I want to thank all the chaperones, you, and thank everybody who donated. I wanted to go to a lot of colleges. I didn't know which one I wanted to go to, but yeah, thank y'all.
With everything that your daughter has been through, the many times that she's been so low physically, how special is it as a mother to see that God has brought her to a point where she can make a trip like this?
Whew. I want to thank everybody. As y'all know, I joined this church, I want to say, in 2012. And y'all have been faithful to me and my family. I thank y'all for that. Nene was diagnosed with leukemia, ALL, 2014. And she's been through a couple of challenges, hospital stays. She's in remission now, but yes, the chemotherapy brought on along a couple of bumps in the road to where we have epilepsy now, but we've been seizure free for a month. And all she's been through, she finds herself being a nurse or a cancer doctor. She was going to Booker T. Washington, but I'm thinking about homeschooling her now because of the challenges that she's going through. But she was also, I wanted to let y'all know, she was selected to be in this program at Barbara Jordan for nursing. Out of 145 kids, she was the top 2 to make it on this program.
I'm hoping next year she can, you know, fulfill that she wanted to go to Barbara Jordan half a day and go to Booker T. Washington and get these seizures out of the way. But this has really been a challenge. She had a great time. I barely talked to her. She's always by my hip, so I'm like, okay, where's Nene? She haven't called me. Yeah, where's Nene? So I just want to say I thank everybody for giving her this experience. She has a long road ahead, and we're going to make this work. Okay.
Nurse Nene.
First of all, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. Thank you, COF, Bishop Dixon. You know, we've been through the challenges with us. But to see her on this trip was something I wanted her to do. Through the challenges that she's been through, let her know that God is still able. And that he was going to see her through this. I didn't have the money, but God gave it to me, and I turned it in. It was at the last 2 months. But we want her to be the best that she can be. And so in doing that, through the HBC, she changed college like 2. She wanted to go to Clark, Atlanta. Now she's headed toward Tuskegee, I think. But she will be going, if this program goes through, she will be having her associate degree when she finishes high school. You know, God has opened doors for her. And so I just want to be there to push her through and let her see that it is accomplished. Wow.
Victoria, you got to visit Nene in the hospital when she was going through. What's it like for you to sit here and see us standing, smiling, strong, talking about being a nurse and going to Tuskegee? How encouraging is that? Can you talk?
I'm sorry, I got an ugly cry.
You have an ugly cry. Where you got that from? Your mama?
You. I cry like you.
From your mama.
Huh?
You got your cute cry from your daddy.
Nene, you may not know this, but you have really been a big inspiration for me. I visited you in the hospital. I've seen you when you weren't at your best and when we did the walk and all of that, and never once have I heard you complain. Never once have you even thought to frown. And when I'm moving through life and, you know, small stuff comes up, I'm reminded of you because you're such a warrior. You're so strong, and it was so beautiful to see where you are today, and it just reminds me how good God is. And so I'm so grateful to see where you are today, and like I said, you really do inspire me, and your story will inspire millions. It really will.
Amazing mother and grandmother. And will you tell somebody God won't let your tears ever be in vain? Your prize will always be bigger than your pain.
Everybody already went, right?
I think, yes.
Okay. Because I forgot one person. The most important person in my life, my mama.
Yes.
She's not here, but
she gonna watch this. And I just want to say thank you, Mom, and I love you so much. And I love that you push me and that you see the light in me when I don't see it in myself. And that I just want to thank you. And my mama cried when I left, and I'm trying not to cry. Ooh.
Girl, we all cry. Come on, just cry.
Everybody else done cried. I'd be mad if you don't cry.
I can't. I love you, Mama.
Wow. Wow. I want to say Tanya should come in forward.
Sister Tanya Battles, reporting for duty.
What has been the most moving, touching thing for you? I know that the trip was amazing and incredible stuff, but listening to these responses from these students, what has surprised you the most that you didn't expect in terms of the depth of the experience?
Thank you. First of all, let me just say thank you, Bishop, for putting that vision out there. And then when I came to you, you said run. And that's what I do. I'm a runner. You give me an assignment and I'll be down the street. So I thank you for that. And I thank you for trusting me to do this. So thank you. And the second thing is I have fallen in love with all of you guys. Every single one of you. I mean, the whole week, I did my best to spend a little bit of time with each one of them because everybody has a story and everybody's child is different and everybody's experience is different. And you don't know that. You'll take it for granted and think that, you know, someone is having challenges or issues or attitudinal issues, but you don't know. Nobody just acts away for no reason. So you got to get to the root of it. So that was our goal, was to get to the root and then to spend quality time with them and to expose them to some amazing colleges and some amazing African Americans that they could have a connection with. So what I saw personally was, I saw they were kind of closed when they got dropped off at the airport. They were closed. They didn't quite know. They didn't quite know all of us. But as the week progressed, they opened up a little bit more, and they opened up a little bit more, and we started to have a little bit more fun, and they started to confide in us, and they started to tell us, this is what I thought of this school, or this is what I kind of didn't like, or, you know, what about this? And just asking us questions, and their interest as we continued on in the trip continued to peak and peak and peak and peak. And by the time we were having dinner last night, it was like family. It was like we were sitting at the table with our own children and our own family, and that's how it was. So when we were on that bus ride home yesterday, we were getting it. We were getting it because we had bonded on another level. And I just feel like, you know, they're my own kids at this point. You know, I told, when Xavier's mom picked him up, I said, "This is my child now." You know, I mean, because that's how we bonded. And I'm so happy that they got a chance to, some of the schools like Spelman, they were having construction. So we only got to go to like the first 2 or 3 buildings. The security guard shared with the ladies about how he secures them within that fence. So they didn't get to tour it, but they got to see somebody else is watching out for me if I come to this school. You know, and the young men I heard had an opportunity to speak to a Spelman, a staff person, and they got a Morehouse staff person that shared. And I when they came back, I saw he said something that made their wheels turn. Then we were at Clark Atlanta. A staff person came up on us while we were walking around, and she began to share her experience and her husband's experience. She went to Clark Atlanta. Her husband went to Morehouse. They both got their PhDs. They went somewhere else to teach, but they came back home because they felt like they could be better utilized at a HBCU. You know, and then when we went over to Morris Brown, their story was riveting. riveting. Staff members stayed for years without getting paid because they're dedicated to educating our students. Years. Lost houses and cars to stay at a university that they felt was worth it and the students were worth it. You know, and so they got a chance to hear the depth of that story. And I think that that's why they were saying it resonated in their heart. You know, they went from like 2,700 students down to 45. But those teachers stayed, you know, and then we moved on. And then, you know, we got a chance to go to Southern, which was amazing. You know, they're very proud of their band. They have a lot of pride. Tuskegee, one of the reasons why they're so into Tuskegee is because our tour guide, his name was Kerry. Kerry knew so much about the history of the people that you were talking about. And I know they were a little flustered, Bishop, but he told them, and they wrote it down. They heard him. And that is why they're so into Tuskegee, because their peer told them about all of the history and the people in the grave and how they raise money and the endowment. And they heard that from someone that is in their age group. You know, and so we saw all of this unfolding before our eyes, and I want to tell you that they get it. They get it. They get it. And that was the whole purpose of this, to expose them so that they could expand and they could expect something great from God.
Well, I tell you, I was going to celebrate you earlier, but I think it was Hurlin Henry just took all of my love, and a few others. I said, well, shucks, I may as well. But I want you to know how absolutely hippopotamus happy and giraffe glad I am that you took on this assignment, and how proud we are, all of us are, of the job you and your team and staff, all the staff, give them a big hand.
Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They were amazing.
Each one of them.
They were amazing.
So special and amazing.
Amazing.
And then finally, I want to say to those of you who gave and supported, and these are not your biological kids, you have no idea of how impactful those contributions are in the thoughts, minds, and hearts of these families and these students. And that's what the community of faith is like, isn't it? You just have to be here to know the difference. This doesn't happen everywhere. I don't want you to take that for granted. This is not every place. This is a unique place with people who have a different kind of love. And you don't know it until you experience it. So thank you all so very, very much. I want, and one of the students spoke it, want to see this go year after year. That's the vision, that's where we're going. And I want to say this, we've already started planning next year. By the time they landed in Atlanta, I'd already sent Tanya some notes about 2020. And it's going to get, believe it or not, even better going forward after this inaugural year. I want the students to say, you know what, I'm looking forward to the next time I want to be a part, because I know God has his hands on it. Any other students in the audience who say, I want to be a part of that, I want you to come shake the hand of one of these. Come on, if you want to be a part, come on, celebrate these students as they're coming. Have the courage to come. Come on, celebrate these students as they're coming. This is awesome. Come on. Whatever age you are now, you want to look forward to this. Come on, congratulate them and shake their hands.
You want to stay to me?
All right, awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That is so awesome.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. See, I want you to know how special this opportunity is for all of them to have witnessed this, because exposure does expand expectations, right? And let me say to our streaming audience, thank y'all for watching, and many of you have watched it for a long time. but we appreciate it. We took this time and sacrificed this extra time, and thank you for being able to stay, because I promise you, if you're in the courtroom with one of them, it takes longer than this. It costs a whole lot more money. It's a totally different dynamic. When you're in the hospital with one, it takes a whole lot longer. So when we have the opportunity to spend positive time, to sow positive time, treasure, and money and interest, let's do it, because the dividends far outweigh the investment. Will you celebrate every one of these scholars? Good Game USA Scholar Power College Tour 2019. And the best is still yet to come. As they're passing out the certificates, I want to encourage all the students to send a card to the chaperones. Send the card to the chaperones, and they will keep that forever. Because one thing about people, the older they get, like these chaperones, they will hold on to a card. They'll pull it out every week and say, ooh, ooh, isn't this a nice card? You know, these chaperones, they're so old. And the older they get, the more they be living. My, look at how beautiful card. Oh, this card, girl gave me this card. They'll tell all their friends, they come over, look at this card. They won't forget it. I promise you that. And no, I'm very joking. I want, Crystal, I don't know what all you did, but you're on probation. You're on probation. We're gonna send a chaperone for you next time. All right, Penny, you can't be her chaperone because both of y'all will be a chaperone. That ain't gonna work. No, we just want y'all to come take a picture. Y'all, come on. Let's thank each one of them very seriously. Camellia Chester.
First of all, you too tall to be
Come on, Lisa.
What are you talking about? I'm the shortest one of this goddamn group. You are not the shortest.
Bobby fell out the boat. I was wondering why he wasn't singing today. He's probably still traumatized.
No.
Yes.
Listen, we're about to go, but listen, I want to thank all of the chaperones. You all were amazing. Crystal made sure we were in our hotel. She made sure we had our flights. She made sure everybody had their room keys. She made sure everything was up and in order. Amen. So thank you, Crystal. Lisa made sure, no, she didn't kill the children. They had a good time with Crystal. Lisa, she had Band-Aids and all kinds of stuff, first aid kits and ibuprofen, and she took care of your kids and made sure they took their medicine. And let me see. Oh, Camellia works with our children and youth, so she had the pulse of all of our children, so she gave us firsthand account, so thank you, Camellia. Sister Dolly works with our children. She's very even-keeled, and she did an amazing job. And who else? Marilyn was with us. She was watching over Nene. But what I want to do, I want to take a minute to thank these men. I want to take a minute to thank these men.
Yeah,
and I want to tell you what they did real quick so that you can celebrate them properly. So these gentlemen were head of security. But we felt like we were the president's kids. It was amazing. I mean, from the time we hit the airport, they had us flanked. They had us in the front, in the middle, and the back. Whenever we got where we were going, they made sure all of our luggage was moved and into the plane. You know, moved from the conveyor belt out to the bus. every single time we got to a place, they pulled us together and said, look, we're moving as a team, we're moving as a unit. Everybody stays together. If you're gonna, one band, one sound. One band, one sound. And they made sure we were secure. They made sure we moved together. They made sure we were safe. And then when we were on these tours, if you look, you'll see Joseph standing in the front by the tour guide, because these are our kids. And then you'll see her brother Herlin on one side, and then you'll see Bobby on the other side. And then, you know, when we got to the hotels, they made sure that they made it to their room check on time. They had a curfew. So they would go and do room check. And then in the middle of the night, they would get up and they would take a woman with them and they would make sure they were still in their room, that they were still secure. I mean, these brothers took good care of us. They took good care of us. And I want to thank Joseph Battles, Brother Herman Hendry, and Brother Bobby Felder. I want to thank them. They did an amazing job. They made sure that the young men were holding the door for the ladies. They made sure if we went somewhere and there weren't enough seats, that the young men were giving up their seats to the young lady. They made sure if we had any issues or attitudinal issues, that they would pull one of the ladies with them and deal with it. They did an amazing job. And I want to celebrate them.
Come on, give them a hand. Oh, that's absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And so here's what we're going to do, y'all, because I forgot we were supposed to show y'all a quick video clip. And it's not long, but it must be said. So I need y'all just to take a quick seat for it's only about 2 minutes. Just take, let's go.
Where's it?
One life to live and I'm living.
I will never be the same. It's all making sense. Exposure is powerful. I'm so glad my parents pushed me to do this. This going where you've never gone thing is so real.
We saw so much at each of the colleges, but there is so much more to see.
To walk on the campuses where great African Americans walk was so cool.
Last one, I used to think that I was nothing in the Lord's eyes. I ain't know enough to be one of the Lord's guys. Knew a little Bible, knew a couple verses, never made disciples. I was so observant of the people who seem to be doing big things. For the Lord, I guess that he gave them big dreams. Man, where am I? I'm feeling so behind. They said the young will see visions, but man, I'm feeling blind. But then I heard of David taking down Goliath. Small thing to a giant, but he still tried it.
Exposure does expand expectations.
Now I'm thinking more like a scholar than ever.
This experience taught me to never miss a chance to grow through exposure.
So I tried, took a step, went left, right. It's unbelievable how God worked through me, and all I had to do was let a dream, he could use me. What you dreaming about?
I'm inspired to be a better student at school right now.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you, Lord, for all that you have done for me. Dream of Muslim nations, turn to worship Jesus. Dream of shattered families, stop, pick up the pieces. Dream of God using you up in the class halls to share the truth with Christ before they see their last fall. Dream big, dream large, dream hard, hey, dream God. He'll do it, he can, and he said he will. Ask me how I know, cause I read his will. One life to live and
the 2019 Good Game Scholar Power College Tour happened.
And I was there.
And we were there too. Thank you, Bishop D. Thank you, Bishop D. Miss Tanya, and all the adults who helped and went with us. Thank you!
That's a beautiful
Y'all stand for the photo. Stand for the photo. Come on, chaperone, stand with them. And you're gonna need to rise.